covering all 4 major sports in the District of Champions. It's the DC Crossover Podcast with your hosts, Mike Cerrone and Ben Simpson.
Hello and welcome to episode 149 of the DC Crossover. I am Ben Simpson. That is Mike Cerrone. Glad to have you with us. Follow the show on all social media, on Twitter, especially at the DC Crossover and at Cerrone16. But the other place you can find us is the TikTok, DC Crossover Podcast there. And we put up every episode, full video on YouTube, DC Crossover Podcast. Mike is on the IL. Well, maybe not quite on the IL. You're on the watch list for the IL right now.
Oh, yeah.
They haven't fully put you on, but Mike is hanging on by a thread, so we'll see if he can get through an episode today. A lot to talk about on this one. We're just we got 3 big topics on the show. Of course, Masters weekend here, so we're going to be giving our Masters meals. I've got mine typed out, ready to go.
Yeah. Love it.
And then we got some Nats talk and some other things like that. But before we dive into everything, Mike, I want to just get your take on this. This is real quick. So we had our siding of our house. We had to replace it. We're going to be moving in May. And so one of the last things the condo association made us do is they're like, the siding sucks or whatever. So we had to go spend, $6,000 on new siding.
Jesus Christ.
Which is a nightmare. Yeah, home ownership is a great thing, man. Anyway, so so it was going to be like a 1-day job, and it was going to be this last Friday. And so on Monday, so I only have one neighbor that I'm like friendly with, and the other neighbors we say hi and stuff. But I got one neighbor who I actually have his phone number, and he's got my phone number. We don't really talk that much, but he'll be like, "Hey, do you mind picking up my package or whatever?" Stuff like that. So on Monday, I text him and I say, "I'll tell you exactly what I said."
Yeah, read it word for word.
All right, so I said, hope all is well. Just a heads up, the condo association made us replace our siding. There's this is on Monday, I texted him. I said, there is a company coming out on Friday to replace the siding all day. Hope the noise isn't too annoying. It should be from about 8 to 5, and then they'll finish up Saturday morning. Just wanted to give you a heads up. So this is a courtesy, me just being like, hey, this is going to be happening on Friday. I'm giving you 5 days warning.
It is happening, so just letting you know.
Exactly. And he said, thanks for the heads up, no problem. So Friday comes. And I get this text, Mike, at 11 o'clock on Friday from him. It's not a complaint. However, I work nights and sleep during the day. With these workers, getting sleep is a big challenge. Just some feedback for you. So I'm going okay, this is kind of weird. First off, I warned you this was happening.
Right. Gave him the courtesy.
So this gets even more interesting. So I go, sorry about that. It should be done in 1 day. Should be quick. He says, it's okay. So, and he gives me a thumbs up, and I go yeah, sorry about that. I'm like, I don't know how to get out of this conversation. He goes, totally understand. Most likely I will end up in some hotel in the area just so I can get some sleep because I have to drive trucks at night. So I'm like, okay, all right, congratulations. I don't know how I'm supposed to help with.
Thank you.
So here's where you come in this situation. You're like, look, I'm trying to be nice. I gave this guy a warning. He's complaining a little bit. He's saying he's going to stay in a hotel. So here's what I do. I go, look, I'm going to do a nice gesture for this guy. I said, do you have Venmo? I'm happy to send you some cash to cover some of the hotel costs. I was trying to be nice. This is not something I need to be doing or anybody needs to 100%. Be doing. I'm like, yeah, And when I said this, I
wouldn't even done that.
Well, most people wouldn't, and I shouldn't. But anyways, I texted him that, and fully expecting for him to be like for example, if you got that message from somebody, and I feel like if I got that message from somebody, I'd be like, no worries, I don't need no problem. You don't need to do that. So I fully expected him for him to turn me down. Instead, he texts back and he goes, that will be a nice mutual contribution from your part. I do have Venmo, but wait till I pick a hotel first. And then suddenly I'm going, oh my God.
Guys, going to go to the friggin' Hampton Suites.
Now suddenly, I'm in this. Now it's oh no. What originally was just me trying to do a nice gesture that I fully expected him to say no to is now suddenly me maybe having to shell out $100 or something for this guy's freaking Hampton Inn or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm sweating a little bit for like an hour because I don't hear it back. And I'm like, this guy's probably like Googling like most expensive hotel in the area. He's looking at like the Ritz Carlton down in DC, probably. He's looking at, like
he ain't doing no Comfort Inn.
No, he's not going to Comfort Inn, Holiday Inn, any of those. No, this man is looking for the Ritz. He's looking for Trump Tower. Like he's looking for the big time.
He's going to the Venetian in Vegas.
I'm like, this guy's gonna suddenly turn this into like a family vacation. He's gonna like go find a home in Myrtle Beach. Like I don't know what he's gonna do.
The extended stay.
But so I'm sweating a little bit for like an hour because I don't hear back. And then after an hour, he texts me and he says, "Never mind, bro. My wife doesn't agree to have you cover the hotel. All good.
Yeah.
Have a nice weekend." And so for me,
kick rocks, bud.
this is a win-win for me because I win because I did the offers. I mean, so that looks nice. But I also win because I'm not having to shell out any skin on this one at all.
You come out looking like a champion.
I come out looking like Muhammad Gandhi or Mother Teresa or something like that. But like, I couldn't believe that this guy said yes to me offering him money for a hotel because he's sleeping. I'm trying not to talk too loud because I'm like, I don't know if he'll hear me. I'm like, okay, first of all, it's not my problem that you have a job that you work at night. Like, I'm sorry that you have to deal with that, but like, I gave you 5 days a warning.
Yeah.
And 2, why would I have to pay for your hotel? I'm like, why would I have anything to do with that? You're a grown ass man. Like, what am I doing here? Like, this guy's like 20 years older than me. Like, what am I? It was insane.
Yeah, it's like you drive trucks at night. Okay, well, get some earplugs or something.
Yeah,
like, dude,
exactly.
If it's
throw the AirPods in, blast Miley Cyrus, and go to sleep. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, Miley Cyrus. Yeah, I mean, that's singing The Climb. But that's the thing is the biggest thing about that is. I mean, hey, if my neighbor upstairs was doing that kind of shit, I mean, I can't. Whatever words come out
6:30 on the podcast. Lucky. Go ahead and I'm just making a mental notation. Okay, all right.
So, that's the funny thing is like you would think that if somebody would give you the courtesy like that they could have came in there guns a-blazing making all this noise.
I could have given no warning. At all.
This guy would have been like, a warning would have been nice, and then you would have said, "Oh, man, sorry about that." With a lot of things going on, and then all of a sudden, you would have been the bad guy.
Right.
Instead, you're literally, you're like all the people that were giving gifts to the Khaleesi, and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. I like where you're going with this.
Yeah, you are. I bet you are. And that's the thing.
The scene didn't end up like that, but Yeah, no, you're right though. I end up looking like the 3 wise men giving the gifts to Jesus. Like I'm walking in there. Here's your frankincense and myrrh, and no, I end up looking great here. And because here's the thing, in my mind, I was like, look, is it worth me because since we're gonna be here for another month or so, I was like, is it worth me just shelling over $50 to keep the peace? And so in my head when I did the offer, I was like, all right, worst case scenario, I guess he says yes, but I never thought in a million years he would, because like who says yes to that?
Right. Especially a hotel in that area is not completely right next to the airport,
right.
So it's not going to be that expensive. But for this guy to say like, oh, that's really generous of you. I might have to take you up on that offer while I'm looking at the Trump Tower.
Well, that's the thing. He said
in New York.
He was like, I do have Venmo. I'll get back to you when I find a place, because he was doing the research. He was the keyboard was clacking. He was looking up he was. How you go to a site and it'll tell you like, do you want like highest price to lowest price? That he clicked the button to say highest price. That's what he was doing.
The filter. He definitely did the filter. That's right. He did the filter with room service and breakfast included.
Yeah.
That's the best part though, is he probably went to his wife and said, "Hey honey, I'm gonna have to take off today and go to I don't know, whatever the I
don't even know a nice hotel. I don't even stay in them. So yeah,
me either. I'm trying to think of one.
Yeah.
All I can think of is Vegas. He's like, I need to go to the MGM Grand.
There we go.
And she was like, well, what are you talking about? And he was, oh well, all the commotion that's going on next door with the guy that has to deal with the HOA. And she was like, are you nuts? Like, you stupid? You're gonna take this guy's money after you're already forking over $6,000.
I'm so glad that she stepped in, like a voice of reason stepped in and was like, "What are you talking about, man? Like, he's not gonna pay for our effing hotel. Like, what are you talking about?
Right.
Just go to bed."
Just put on some headphones and just chalk this day up as a loss for you.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you're making such. I mean,
Look, man, you're just gonna crash the truck. Like, let's just admit it. You're gonna crash the truck. You're gonna fall asleep. It's gonna happen.
Hopefully, it's not one of those tankers.
Not my fault. It's not my fault. But yeah, it was insane. It was like I've been here 4 years. It's like I'd never had like a weird reaction like from a like interaction like that with a neighbor, and like so I was just like very like thrown off. I was like, because this guy this seems like a nice guy, and then when he messaged me complaining, it was like, what are you talking about? Like I'm sitting here too, buddy. I'm hearing the racket. Like my whole house was shaking for a day. I'm trying to sit here and work. It's like, what do you? I'm not enjoying this. Like this isn't a symphony. Yeah. Like I'm not having a good time.
It's not like you're giving the courtesy of, oh, I'm throwing a party.
Right. Exactly.
Here's a quick story. Back in college, I was living in this my junior year. We were living in this. Pretty much, it was a dump.
Sure,
but it was a house, and just to go along with what the house was, basically, the house we got something in the mail that said, "Hey, your house might be predated 1960, so it might have lead paint in there."
Oh, nice.
And I was like,
good to know.
Awesome. First week out here, and it's feeling great.
We don't need good grades anyways.
Yeah, let's be honest here. And the best part about it is that we one night, it was probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks into school, and it was me and probably about 5, 6 of us maybe, and we're just hanging out, playing a little music.
Right.
You know, the windows are closed. And we're in the basement because it's basically a tri-level house.
Sure.
So the basement was basically, just empty. We had a couch, TV, ping pong table, whatever. And we're just playing music. We're not like blasting. I mean, 6 of us. Let's be honest here. We're not a rager.
Not really. Just 6 dudes sitting around. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like my roommate, his girlfriend, and it was like whatever. It's like I said, 6 or 7, something like that. And we're just hanging out, just chilling on a Friday night. And then all of a sudden, I go and take the trash out because I didn't hear any of this. This is all hearsay from what I heard everyone else say. You hear this knock on the window, and you know how those tri-level houses have like the window that's like on the ground?
Yeah, it's like literally like a foot above the ground level. Yeah.
Right. So then all of a sudden, I come back in from taking the trash out, and the neighbor across the street came and banged on the window of the basement. They opened the window up, and the guy was like, "Turn that S off, blah, blah, blah. Like, I got a baby sleeping." Like, dude, first of all, your house is like 60 yards away. 60, I knew where he lived. It's 60 yards away across the street.
Zero chance that he heard any of it.
Plus, we're in the basement.
Right,
it's not like we're in a bedroom and the windows are
yeah. And you're not throwing a concert on the front porch.
Yeah. And my roommate's girlfriend, she's a nice person, stuff like that. She's a little fake nice, but I didn't really get along with that.
We don't need to get into that. Okay.
So, but she, the next time, like, she had to bake cookies and take them over to say, "We are so sorry." I'm like, why are you apologizing? Because now you're making this douche canoe look like he's right. And that, they came over and banged on the window. First of all, if I was down there, it wouldn't have been sorry, we'll turn it down a little bit. It would have been a different couple words.
And then you turn that volume knob a little bit higher, turn it to 11.
Yeah. Sorry, I can't hear you. But that's the thing is, then all of a sudden, literally, the next time we had a quote unquote get together with more than 7 people, she literally went over there, baked a cake, and gave it to him and said, "Hey, we're having a few friends over. We just wanted to make sure that you knew, blah, 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 blah." Like, and that one was hopping. I'm not going to lie. That one was going crazy.
Yeah, that one was
the cops should have been, alerted of a noise complaint possibly. And meanwhile, this person over here, house is dark. They probably went to the grandparents for the weekend. And
they ate all the cake and passed out because they were like, they're just so full. They ate the whole thing.
Yeah, no, it's like the neighbors are just, some neighbors are just
insane.
Dumb. Like, like, especially with noise complaints. I mean, obviously you got the college situation.
Well, it's like that's the whole thing. It's like they're living in a college town. Like you're going to experience this. Like
you weren't there before Virginia Tech was built back in 1860.
Right. Like, part of the reason your mortgage is not that high is because it's a college town. So like be thankful for what you're paying because this is what you have to deal with. But it's like 5 kids in a basement listening to, man, what would you have been listening to back then? That would have been
back then. That was a lot of there was T.I. was going on.
Sure. Yeah.
There was
maybe some Riri, maybe some Rihanna in the mix.
Lil Wayne was big then.
Lil Wayne, yeah.
Let's see. There was I'm trying to think of the ASAP Rocky was he bailed on Radford concert. Whatever. I'm just trying to think of what's the Chris Brown was all right back then at that point.
Right.
Well, I don't know. Maybe he did some assaults before then.
Yeah, hard to
I don't
remember.
know. I don't know, man. But that back then, dude, we were listening to some good stuff. And yes, the bass was going on, but I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah,
here,
no
dude.
chance.
Like,
What probably happened is the guy probably like had to go get something from his car, and he heard like a tiny little bit of music, and he decided like, I'm gonna make this a thing. It's like, dude, if you're
Yeah.
inside your house and you're like watching TV, there's no chance he heard anything. Like,
yeah,
there's just no chance.
he's probably part of the watch of the neighborhood.
Ooh, yeah, that's true. The
And
old
he's probably
watch.
he's the captain. He's probably sitting there like,
Yeah, he's got his hat,
you know,
his little captain's
you know,
hat on.
yeah. Dude, that guy. When I heard about that, when I came, because the whole entire exchange was like 30 seconds, more enough for me to tie the bag, take the bag out,
Right.
and then close up. I mean, literally, it was 30 seconds, and I'm like, everyone was like when I got back down there, they were all, what? Can you believe that happened? And I was like,
Yeah, probably a little shook up.
yeah, I was like, yeah, from this crazy person.
Good thing the guy didn't like tap like a gun on the window or something like that. Like,
Yeah, maybe he did. It was
in
dark
that type
out.
of neighborhood, you never know. No, you're right though. Neighbors can be so. I've been lucky that I haven't had really any like. We don't even get into neighbors because you've definitely take the
Yikes.
cake when it comes to bad neighbors. So we won't even get into that.
Correct.
Let's move into. I know you were checking out this poll. And I haven't seen the results of this or anything like that, so I'm interested to hear more about this.
So, first of all, again, I want to apologize for everyone that's listening. I came down with something once again, and it feels like
By everyone listening, you mean the entire Stonebridge baseball team.
yeah, Crazy Jerry. Hey, when we lost our game the other night, everyone started calling Scary Jerry Crazy Jerry from when you called him crazy.
He is Crazy Jerry for
Yeah,
sure.
dude, he's a crazy guy, man. I'm telling you right now.
Takes
Anyway,
his shirt
so-
off after the games, stands on top of the dugout, acting like a nutso, man. Crazy
yeah.
Jerry.
We, last time we left him at the school, and we just said, "All right, it's all right. He'll find his way." But yeah. So I apologize out there because it feels like the Hulk is grabbing my vocal cords and whirling them around like a boomerang. Anyways, that didn't make any sense. But
Yeah,
still,
I was like,
you
what? I can't even imagine.
I don't
that.
You can tell I'm coughing and say whatever.
Just wait
It's
till
all
the
over
cough
place.
medicine kicks in. There you go.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna ask Lil Wayne if he has any extra. All right, here we go. The DC's favorite teams in 2010 and also in 2023.
Okay.
So the poll ranges from a year 2010 and
Yeah.
2023. So 13-year difference. And they ranged them from going to people in DC and asking them, who is your favorite team in the District of Columbia or in the DMV in general? So it says 37%, quote unquote, don't prefer any of these teams.
Right.
So
right.
when you're talking about the teams, you're talking
That's
about
DC
the Nats.
for you.
Yeah, exactly. It's transcendent area. You're talking about the Commanders, Nats, Wizards, DC United, the Mystics, Spirit, which I guess is the tennis team, and
It
the
was soccer
Caps.
team. Yeah.
Oh, well, who cares?
Yeah.
Let's be honest here. They're not even on the poll.
I know.
I like how they listed them, and they're literally not even on the poll.
Yeah, I can't imagine they would be.
Yeah. So here we go. So in 2020, or I keep saying 2020, in 2010, the Commanders / Redskins were at 32%.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah, I get it.
So that's a pretty big number. Then in 2010, the Caps were at 14%.
Okay.
The Wizards at 5%. I guess you say Wiz and DC United
Yeah,
were at 5%.
okay.
And then the Nats were at 7%. And then the Mystics were at like a 1%. So
Right.
whatever. And
So you
then
said the
obviously,
Nats were higher than the Wiz?
the Nats at the time were higher in the Wiz
Okay.
and DC United, yes.
So
then
the
you
Wizards
look
were
at-
basically last, besides like the Mystics or
Yes.
whatever. But the
They-
Wizards
they
were last
they were
of the
tied with
Big
DC
Four.
United. Tie with
Okay.
DC United, yeah. So it also says 1% or fewer chose the Spirit. So why are we considering
Yeah.
them? The Castles, which is the tennis team.
Right. That's
The O's, which I don't know why we're even mentioning them. They're in Baltimore.
Yeah.
The Ravens, Old Glory DC, which is a rugby team.
it. Right.
Okay. And the Defenders, which I like how they included the Defenders in there, which the Defenders, it's a long time ago.
Yeah. right.
Anyways, so, and I wouldn't even include the Defenders because they had 7 games this year.
Right.
Let's be honest here. So you're looking at that and saying, all right, right now in 2023,
okay.
it's a big change. I'd like to see what you would rate these teams just by the pulse of the nation in
Right.
the DMV.
So I still feel like, because NFL is king, and I still feel like the Commanders are number one here. So I'm going Commanders number one.
Incorrect.
Wow. So if they're not number one, it's definitely not. Wizards are definitely going to be last, I feel like. So the question is more of like where the Nats reside versus where the Caps reside. I mean, Caps games sell pretty well. There's a big fan base there still. They tend to be in the playoff mix every year. Okay, so really the Caps have surpassed the Commanders?
So this is a poll of 1,600 people.
Okay.
So it's a decent sample size.
Yeah.
Right now in 2023, the Nationals are the highest and
Really?
favorite team. Now, you have to put it this way. Now, we can
Bandwagon
think logically
fans.
about this, okay?
Right.
Yeah, not this season, but logically, they are the most recent championship winner.
Sure.
They also have many, many games and many more accessible games that you can get to
Mhm.
because you think about it, they got 81 home games.
Right.
So
and the
also they're
season
on
takes place
Saturdays.
during like the time of year where people like to go outside and go do things. Yep.
So you have a lot of factors when it comes into that. Also, baseball, you can just go and be a fan and
Mhm.
enjoy yourself. You can go to the bullpen and not even know what a baseball looks like
Right.
and
right.
and have some fun. But go into a Caps game, yes, you can do the same thing. But then all of a sudden, some people, and I've noticed this, some people, because it's so fast paced, also have issues of what the hell is going on
Right.
because they always ask you like, why did they just blow the whistle right
Where's
there?
the
Like the guy
puck?
was skating.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to think about that.
Okay.
So right now, these are the rankings. The Nats are number one at 16%.
Okay, so it's there's nobody back in the 30s like they were
No,
in 2010.
no.
Where like, okay, got it.
Commanders at 15%. So they
Okay.
dropped
Wow.
16%.
Like a half, over half.
Yep,
Wow.
in 13 years. So it's basically 1% a year, which is great. That's
Jeez.
awesome. The Caps went down to 11% from 13% before.
Okay.
Then the Wizards and DC United surprisingly went up 2%
Really?
to 7%.
So DC United, you
The
can factor
Sixers
in the
still
new
there.
stadium into
Yes,
that. But yeah, I still can't imagine. Interesting. I mean, I definitely figured the Wizards would be down low for sure. But interesting. You said they went up a little bit, which is interesting
Yeah.
because I'm trying to think where they even were in 2010. I mean, at that point, because like compared to where they are now, I mean, the Wizards have been garbage for like years now. So it's like, all right, whatever.
I guess you could say that their popularity went up just slightly because that was around when John Wall was on the team and
Right.
they were succeeding a little bit and whatnot. And they also had a little bit of, I guess you could say, successfulness
Right.
when Antoine Jameson, Gilbert Arenas, and all that stuff. So,
Sure.
but still, at that time, it was still 5%. So let's not get crazy here. But
Right.
you're looking at it and saying the biggest thing was the Commanders.
Yeah, that is
selling.
crazy.
I mean, 16%. I think I said in 13 years.
Wow.
that's horrible. That's just terrible.
That is extremely surprising. I would not have guessed. I mean, I would have guessed maybe that some of the fandom would have gone down a little bit, not half, because NFL is still king. I mean, NFL still draws giant numbers. I guess also another factor in this is the fact that we're talking about in DC specifically, because we know that a lot of the Commander fandom is in, Loudoun County and Fairfax County and really a lot of places in Virginia as a whole. And then, because there's not, I wouldn't say there's a gigantic fan base in DC proper, because like that's where, like you mentioned, a lot of people that are from other states and all that stuff are living. So if they did,
back here's the thing. Back in 2010, obviously, when you're looking at the 31%, 31% basically of 1668, which is the amount of people that were polled, 633 preferred the Redskins, obviously at the time,
right,
over any other team, and that's pretty crazy because you look at it, and just like you said, this is a very, very Commanders/Redskins prominent area to the point where now they're down. If you have that same amount of people, okay, the same amount of people in the poll, and if you go down to what it is today, I mean, you cut that literally in half.
right.
Like 300 out of 1,600, which is crazy because you think about this area and how much HTTR, HTTC, the Redskins are king here and all that kind of stuff,
Right.
especially because you look at the Nats and the Caps, they weren't really here until, I mean, the Caps, I think was in the late 80s or something like that.
Yeah.
I forgot exactly when, but it's like you're looking at it, it's like the Redskins have been here forever. So it's kind of crazy how the fandom just has,
That's surprising.
It's just, I mean, it's just nuts, dude. It's nuts to see how far this team has fallen, even in just popularity.
Yeah, they got to figure this out. I mean, obviously, we're hoping, new ownership and stuff like that, they'll figure this out. But, I mean, some of that you got to say is the Dan Snyder effect, too. I mean, sure. There's been one guy in charge for that time as far as owning the franchise. And the Big Danny didn't really seem to work out for him. But, yeah, it is interesting because I do wonder, like, for the Nats, like, I do wonder if these next couple of years of bad baseball for the Nats will end up, kind of affecting any of those numbers a little bit. Because,
good, for sure.
But you're right, the experience itself, and people like just going out to the ballpark in the summer and drinking some beers and having a good time, and regardless if the team is good, because there's 162 freaking games to go on this thing. Well, now for these Nats, it's 159.
The Washington Nationals.
As might as well just get into it a little bit here before we do our Masters menu. So 3 games in for the Washington Nationals as they begin to start their series tonight against Tampa Bay as we record this on Monday. You just finished up this Braves series.
Hey, I got a bet on the game tonight.
Oh, yeah? On this one tonight?
I got a same-game parlay, man.
Okay. I want to hear it. What's the same-game parlay?
Oh, I don't have the Nats winning, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can't imagine.
I got the run line for Tampa, and I got no run first and third innings.
Okay, you like that no run. Yeah, this will be interesting tonight because Trevor Williams on the bump for the Nats, fourth starter, journeyman. We'll see what he has in store. And the Rays, the one thing we know about the Rays is they always have pitching. I mean, I just saw it because they just played the Tigers, so I saw them just absolutely smoke the Tigers hitters for 3 straight games. But we're talking Nats here. They just finished up this series against the Braves, a 7-2 loss on opening day, and then a 7-1 loss on Saturday, and then a 4-1 win for the Nats on Sunday. A fun one. Great to get your first win. But yeah, I wanted to just highlight some of the good, the bad, the ugly, etc. on this season so far. So we've seen 3 starters so far, Mike. Patrick Corbin, 3 innings, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 3 Ks. I will mention for Corbin that he did, keep in mind, C.J. Abrams had like 3 errors in that game, and including there was a couple situations where a double play would have gotten Corbin out of an inning, and so his pitch count ended up in like the high 80s, and he only lasted 3 innings. Those numbers are a little misleading because of that. I don't have his FIP or anything like that up, but I will say, like, Corbin, if I were to rank these starter outings, it would definitely be Corbin would be in the middle. It would be Mackenzie Gore with the best outing, then Corbin, and then Josiah Gray, unfortunately, with the worst outing. This guy, man, you and I, and look, it's one game, so we're just overreacting to one game, but you and I were so excited to see Josiah Gray again. We're like, man, this young kid is going to turn this thing around. He's going to figure out how to stop giving home runs. And what does he do, Mike? His first start of the year, 3 bombs, 7 hits, 5 earned runs over 5 innings. It's one game. He could go the next 3 starts and go lights out. But, man, a little rough to see our boy Josiah Gray, who the one thing, the big knock on him last year was giving up home runs, and he gives up 3 on Saturday. Not really what you wanted to see out of Josiah Gray there.
Yeah, and that's exactly the thing, though, is that he's a fastballer. I mean, the guy goes up there and throws heat, but he's not the type of pitcher like a Patrick Corbin is. Where Patrick Corbin lives on his sinker, he lives on low fastballs, low in the zone. So typically, he doesn't really have. Now, I don't know his stats the last couple of years of home runs, extra base hits, all that kind of stuff, but you're looking at comparison between Patrick Corbin and Josiah Gray. First of all, Josiah Gray's not a lefty. Lefties are already harder to hit. But then you're looking at Patrick Corbin and saying, Patrick Corbin, the type of way he pitches, I mean, I'll bet you $20 that if you put 200 of Corbin's best innings or so against Strasburg's 200 best innings whenever he pitches the next 3 years, for the most part, because he might not pitch ever again. Who knows? You look at it and say, I'll bet you $20 that the more home runs are hit off of Strasburg than Corbin, mainly because people out there don't really know the certain type of ways pitchers go out there and pitch. Now, if you throw harder, it goes out farther. Let's be honest here. That's just how it is. Patrick Corbin isn't a fireballer. He doesn't go up there and throw 99 on occasion at all because, again, once again, he lives on the sinker, lives down in the zone, and that's what he does. He lives on ground balls. You're not going to see a ton of home runs off of Patrick Corbin. But at the same time, you're looking at Josiah Gray and saying he had a good spring, and we were hoping that this would be, one of the situations that he could clean up. And right now, it's not seeming like after that first start was it. And but you mentioned it's early. Okay, it's early. We're not going to judge him off of one start because you never know. He probably saw CJ. Yeah. Well, he could have probably saw CJ Abrams and said, "Well, damn, I have to strike guys out because this guy's not going to feel anything."
Yeah, I mean Abrams. Rough game in that first game.
Another guy that we talked about.
Another guy we're high on. And Mackenzie, before we get to Abrams, though, Mackenzie Gore with the best start of the group for sure. He looked very good on Sunday. I caught the last 2 innings of the game, and then I went back later last night and watched the whole thing. Because now with the games being so short, and they're all like 2 hours and 20 minutes, I can easily scroll through on MLB TV and just like get through a game in 45 minutes. I mean, it's great. Mackenzie Gore, 5 1/3, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 4 walks, 6 Ks. The walks you obviously don't love, but 6 Ks and 3 hits across 5 1/3. I mean, great first start from this young lefty who we're all very excited for, and I think will be the best lefty on the staff. I mean, not the best lefty, the best pitcher on the staff, I feel like, this year, because I don't see Corbin being able to do that. I don't see Josiah Gray being able to do that. I think Mackenzie Gore is going to be the best pitcher on the team right now, and he showed that on Sunday. So that was really, while the Josiah Gray stuff was discouraging, I'd say the Mackenzie Gore outing was super encouraging, because keep in mind, he's going against the Braves. This is a playoff team. This is a potential World Series team, and he's racks up 6 Ks against that lineup, against guys like Acuna and stuff like that. So that was really good to see. Bullpen, just a couple guys I wanted to highlight. I mean, Erasmo Ramirez has been like the cleanup guy. He threw 3 innings over the weekend, only allowed 3 hits and no earned runs. That's good to see. Finnegan had 1 good outing and 1 bad outing. He did get his first save on Sunday. That was nice, but he did walk a couple and give up some runs on opening day on Thursday. And then Hunter Harvey, 2 games, 1 2/3 innings, only allowed 1 hit, no runs. Good outing for him. On the batting side of things, Mike, the good. Let's start with the good. So Lane Thomas, been the leadoff guy here over the weekend, seemingly for the future. And right now, 5 hits on the weekend, a double, a run, score, 417 average through his first series of the year. That's great to see at the top of the lineup. The 5 guys that I'd say I really, really liked watching this weekend was Lane Thomas, definitely Keibert Ruiz, who had the Nats' first home run and only home run so far of the season. Dom Smith, who I still didn't love that signing. I still think this guy is not going to be that great for the team this year, but hey, he did drive in a run and he did get some hits. And then Victor Robles, I will say, 3 walks. Yeah, right. Yeah. He actually did okay this weekend. I mean, 3 walks, no strikeouts in 7 ABs, collected a couple hits too. That's a really good sign. For Robles to be getting on base and his speed being out there. And then Joey Meneses collected 3 hits and an RBI in the weekend too. So those 5 guys, Mike, were the most impressive of the hitters this weekend for sure.
Well, honestly, depending on what they did with Robles, I mean, honestly, if that is, something that's going to change, that's great. But if not, you better take a picture of that OBP, because that's the only time he'll ever see his face on the leaders for OBP.
Yeah, that guy, that's a fact.
I mean, let's be honest here. It's never been great with him in OBP, which has been a detriment to his career. But I mean, like you said, you got to give him props where it's due. I mean, 3 games so far, and he's leading the team with 500 OBP. Had 7 at bats so far, which is not a ton, but at the same time, he's getting on base.
Yeah, so we'll take it. We'll take it, man.
I mean, three walks and 2 hits, we'll take it.
Yeah, and then the bad.
Come on, Robles. All right.
Yeah, the bad. CJ Abrams, 7 ABs so far, no hits and a strikeout. He was getting hard contact, I will say, but not getting on base, and that sucks because he's a fast guy and you kind of need him on. They didn't have him play on Sunday. I think since he had 4 errors in the field over the weekend and he didn't get a single hit, I think Davey just gave him Sunday off to be like, hey, young guy, let's get your mental back into things. And now he has to face the Rays, who are even better pitchers. The Braves have some good pitchers too, obviously. Then the other 3 guys that just didn't have great weekends, Candelario, who was actually great in the field at third base. He made some tremendous plays this weekend. Didn't really get it done with the bat. 1 hit, 3 strikeouts. Luis Garcia, nothing too great there. Only 1 hit on the weekend, 2 Ks. And then Alex Call. It's kind of unfair because it was only 4 ABs, but he did strike out in 3 of the 4 ABs. So
Yikes.
you don't love that for a guy who, like, you're not expecting a whole lot out of him, but at the same time, it's like do something at the plate. But CJ Abrams, I haven't had a chance to see if the Nats lineup for tonight, if he's going to be back in the lineup. I would assume yes, because again, this season's an effort season, so it's like you might as well get these young guys as many at bats as possible. Let's see, Nats lineup tonight. We got Luis Garcia, Meneses, of course. They put Lane Thomas low in the lineup now after he was doing great at leadoff. He's now batting 6th. Candelario, Dom Smith, Keibert Ruiz, Lane Thomas, C.J. Abrams, Ildemaro Vargas, and Robles. So we'll see how this goes. This is not the Rays are a good team, so this is a good test for the Nats. You take 1 from Atlanta. I think you're happy if you take 1 from Tampa, honestly. Like, you'd love to steal 1 tonight if possible. So 1 and 2 to start the year. Hey, it's better than a sweep. That's all we can really be happy about, Mike. I mean, they didn't get swept.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, that's the thing is we have a bet and we obviously have to check in on our teams that we bet on.
Yeah,
which we did put
true.
the big long season long sweat on. The best part was actually, I'm not gonna lie, Jess told me the other night, she was like, "Oh, nice, the Pirates won," and I was like, "Yes, they're in our bet." And all of a sudden, I looked who they're playing the Reds.
Yeah,
I was like, damn,
so
they're in our bet too.
The update on our bet. So the Tigers 0-3, unfortunately.
Yikes, damn it.
The Rockies, though, collected a couple wins. They're 2-2 now, so they just need 58 more wins to go. The Reds have 2 wins so far, so they just need 58 more. The Royals are 0-3 also. So Royals and Tigers both 0-3, but Rockies, Pirates, Reds all got a couple dubs, so we'll take those. But yeah, again, if you don't remember from last week, this was Mike and I's sweat for 60-plus regular season wins between the Tigers, Rockies, Pirates, Reds, and Royals, which you'd think is attainable, but you never know with these teams.
They all have to get 60 wins by themselves, though, by the way. It's not a combined thing.
Right. Yeah, that would be hilarious. Yeah, they each need like 15 wins.
I put my mortgage on that.
All right, let's get into our final topic of the evening as I get the music ready here. We're talking Masters, people. We talked last week. We were doing the...
Are we going to end with our Masters bets, or are we going to start with the Masters bets and then go into the fun food?
Okay, we can throw a quick couple bets in there. So I do have a few. Again, of course, the Masters starting this Thursday at 7 a.m. I'm just giving people a couple top 10 bets on my end. I got a couple guys that I have my eye on for top 10 finishes in plus money. First up, Xander Schauffele. I'm going plus 210, top 10 finish. Mike doesn't like it. I do like it. And then I'm going to go... I never pick winners with this stuff because it's like, yeah, I'm not going to pick a winner. I guess... and then still in plus money right now is John Rahm at plus 100. So I'll take the plus money for Rahm top 10. So I'm going to go Rahm and Schauffele, both in plus money there for top 10 finish at Augusta National.
So my new thing is I like doing parlays. So I like doing, this guy is going to finish in the top 40. This guy's going to finish in the top 20, stuff like that. Because obviously it's more money because certain guys, plus 200, okay, that's nice, but I don't like putting $5 on plus 200 and winning 10 or whatever.
I do.
Okay, so my Masters early plays are as follows. Cam Smith, 4 top 10s in the last 5.
Right.
Cam Smith loves Augusta. The problem is he hasn't been playing so well over on the Live. Now, he's played okay, but so I'm not going to say he's been playing awful, but he hasn't been playing great. But top 10 for him this week, plus 230.
Ooh, I like that. Okay.
Plus 230. And he's gotten 4 out of the last 5.
Yeah.
So that's pretty impressive for him. So that's easy money right there.
Cash it.
Jordan Spieth, top 5, plus 360. Spieth has been on fire. Now, he hasn't been coming home with the dubs because he's faltering late on Sundays, but plus 360 for a top 5, you would think that he'd have to be within 3 strokes of the lead for the most part to have a chance at the top 5, and I think that's probably attainable for him. And he's also won Augusta before, so he knows how to play that course.
All right,
last one.
Oh, sorry, you got one more. Go for it.
Trust me, I'm not leaving this guy out, man. This is my boy, El Tigre.
Oh.
Top 30, still plus money for top 30.
Okay.
Tigre, plus 100. Now it's not a lot, but plus 100 for top 30. That's an easy throw in because I mean, top 30, let's be honest here. It'd be within like 8 strokes of the lead.
Right.
Now, we're not going to say he's going to, I mean, I could just see a nice Sunday from him coming down the stretch, and he goes out there and shoots a 67 on Sunday. And he's probably not going to be in the mix, but still, that's pretty nice. But then looking at Cam Smith, Jordan Spieth parlay for Smith top 10, Spieth top 5, plus 1418.
All right. I like it. Mike's got some skin in the game this weekend.
14 extra money, baby. 14
Sunday at the Masters. As we now give you our Masters meals. If Mike or I won the Masters, this would be our meal, the menu. And we were looking at it earlier, and the rules seem to be somewhat around it looked like about 3 appetizers. Like some guys would do like 2 apps and a soup, and then an entree. We're going with like 3 appetizers, a main, and a dessert for the Masters. So I did not think particularly hard on this, but I do like my menu right here, Mike.
I did. I'm not gonna lie.
So I'm gonna start with. I'll let you go second because I feel like you put a little more thought into this.
Okay.
Here's my menu. So we'll start with the appetizers, Mike. So actually, I saw this on whoever's menu, and I kind of like this. I like some bacon wrapped shrimp in the mix here. So I'm gonna go bacon wrapped shrimp as an app. Then I'm gonna go Parmesan garlic fries. Gonna go Parmesan garlic fries
as an app.
Yeah, some fries.
I mean, it's like a. Okay.
Just let me give you my menu.
Okay.
These are thick. These are thick steak fries, and then
okay, like wedges.
Yeah, the wedges. And then we're gonna go with bacon mac and cheese balls. So bacon and mac and cheese, and then they're gonna be deep fried. So they're gonna be
in ball form.
So big, and that's the whole thing because we're golf balls. Yeah, it all works. So bacon wrapped shrimp, Parmesan garlic fries, bacon mac and cheese balls. A lot of bacon.
Bacon.
Main, I thought about this long and hard. I was like, do I want to go the Italian route? Do I want to go the barbecue route? Instead, I'm just going to go with a big, juicy steak. I love a good steak here, especially with these apps that we're talking about here. I think a steak works perfectly. I put the filet on the menu. If you want to go tomahawk or ribeye, I'm not hating it whatsoever. I may move more to the ribeye instead, but we're gonna definitely go steak here because it's a classy.
Oh, so they can
event.
choose. They can choose.
Yeah, I'm gonna give them 3 choices. I'm gonna give them filet, ribeye, and
tomahawk.
Tomahawk.
T-bone.
Yeah, T-bone. We'll go T-bone. And then my dessert here. We're going.
Oh, so you're just doing steak? That's it?
Well, steak and then my side. The apps are like sides.
Oh, I even put sides with my entree. Man, I went.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
You above and beyond for this thing.
And then desserts. I'm going with double fudge brownies.
Oh.
With a scoop of vanilla ice cream. So they're going to be warmed fudge brownies. So they're not going to be
warmed.
Yeah, warm. It's going to say it on the menu. It's going to be like in parentheses. It's going to say warmed double fudge brownies with a scoop of vanilla ice cream for dessert.
Okay.
And that is dinner at the Masters.
All right. So my biggest, I will say my critique my expertise.
Well, it's
in
my
this-
dinner, so
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So you came down the stretch on 18 and got
Yeah.
an eagle for the win.
Yeah.
So my only thing about this dinner is typically you have a steak and then also something else that you can choose from. Remember how Mr. Scheffler has a fish also on there, so he's got two
we're
different.
only steak for my guess. You
And
can
if
only
you
have
don't want
steak.
steak, you can pound sand.
Exactly.
and
You
then
can
back
eat
to
some
the-
more bacon wrapped shrimp if you want.
Right.
But I'm giving you
Okay.
3 different choices of steak, so that's generous on my part.
All right. So I will give yours a solid. I'll give it solid like B.
Okay. All right.
I like it. Don't
B
get me
for
wrong.
birdie.
I'm gonna. Yep. Exactly. I'm gonna eat it no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be delicious. Yeah.
So Mike Cerrone comes down the stretch, winning by 7 strokes.
7 strokes. Okay.
Yeah, 7 strokes. Falters on the 16th.
Yeah.
Hit it in the water.
Right in the water.
But I ended up piping one down the center on 18, pretty much to solidify the win.
Okay. Okay.
My next year's meal, appetizers, potato skins
Like it.
with buffalo chicken dip inside the skin.
Okay. You did think about this. Okay. Got it. Got it. All right. Okay.
Next one.
One of us worked today, people.
Yeah. I was working on not dying. Maryland mini crab cakes.
Ooh. Okay. Great. Great. Representation of the area. I get it. Yep.
Yep. I should have put Eastern Shore because I hate Maryland. The only
Right.
thing they're good for is the O's and crab cakes.
Yep.
Here we go. The next one. Mini grilled cheese bites with a cup of tomato soup.
This is good. This is good. I mean, I have no critiques right now. I like it.
And it has to be the way my Graham makes
Sure.
grilled cheese and also the way my family makes tomato soup.
You gotta butter both sides of the bread.
Yep. You got to butter both. I can't even talk. Butters both sides of the bread.
Yep.
You got to have extra cheese on there so it's gooey.
Gotta
And then
be.
the tomato soup, you got to get the Campbell's tomato soup. You got to pour the tomato soup in there. I think it's 1 cup of milk to every 2 cups of tomato soup.
I got a little trick for you. You take a
Oh, tricks.
small slice of cheese, and before you put the bread into the pan, you put the cheese in the pan, so that way the cheese melts into the bread. So you also have some cheese on the outside of the
Dude, that's
sandwich.
that's like you were ahead of the time with the grilled cheese burrito at Taco Bell.
I was. I had Taco Bell yesterday, by the way.
What was
Do you want to know the order? Yeah, I figured
Yes.
you did. I will say, you know, you had Taco Bell on Sunday when I wake up at like 2 a.m. with like heartburn.
Oh yeah.
Where like last night I was just regretting all my decisions because I was like, I can't believe I got this. So I went with the grilled cheese burrito.
There it is. See?
I went with 2 nacho cheese Doritos Locos Tacos Supreme,
Okay.
the cheesy gordita crunch, and the nachos Belgrande.
Is this all for you?
Yes. Yep. And I
like how-
got the
I like how I say that, but I go there and get like 6 burritos, and they're all for me. So.
and I got the Baja Blast Freeze.
Ooh, okay. All right. So back to
Yes,
the
continue. I'll get
the
your music
Masters.
going back here in a second if I can get this to work. Now I have an ad. Just
Oh,
keep going.
It's an ad. Give me a cough break for a second. I should pop a cough drop in, but I don't want to be sloshing around.
Yeah,
my
it's all right.
teeth.
We're almost done.
So I can't wait to piece all this together for TikTok. It's gonna be a lot of editing. So here we go. Going on with the entree,
Yep.
chicken parmesan,
Yeah, I thought
With
about this.
fettuccine, and garlic bread.
Yeah, I thought I considered going the Italian route. You went the right way. I think you got to bring some Italian into the mix for sure.
So hey, by the way, my extra appetizer that I had was ham and cheese sliders.
Oh, classic.
Yeah, but I didn't want to get too heavy on the bread,
I get it.
you know, because I have to eat my meal.
Right.
So here we go. The second option for the entree is the filet mignon
Yeah, there you go.
with garlic, mashed potatoes, and cheesy baked asparagus.
Okay, yeah. That's how I prefer my vegetables, where you just put a layer of cheese on it. That's
Cheese.
the only way I'll eat it. Yeah.
I was looking stuff up today, and it said cheesy baked asparagus in the picture. I mean, I can
I'd
eat
eat it.
vegetables all day if it looks like that.
Oh yeah, that's the only way to eat it.
So I was really, really torn for the dessert.
Right.
Because obviously we can't have any branded things on here.
Right.
But I'm going to. I'll tell you my extra one in a second. But my main one is a piece of chocolate chip cake with a glass of cold milk.
Oof, gotta have the cold milk in the mix for sure.
Yeah. I mean, and the extra cold. And then my extra run would be, if I could have a choice, would be cinnamon pull-apart bread with a glass of I can't even talk to that, cold milk.
Yeah. Gotta have
you
the
ever
cold
had
milk.
cinnamon pull-apart bread?
Oh, we've talked about it on this show.
Dude,
yeah.
man, it's with milk too. Oh man, it's like an explosion.
No, that's a good meal. I mean, that's a solid A. I mean, like I can't really find much fault with it. I mean, if I sat down for that meal, I'd be 10 pounds heavier, but way happier. Like,
imagine a potato skin with buffalo chicken dip inside of the skin.
That is a scientific creation that I would love to be a part of. I'd love to.
My God,
I'd love to witness that. No, that was a great
tonight.
That was a great Masters dinner. I think I gotta look up to see if anywhere like sells anything close to that, because I would eat that in a heartbeat. I mean, it sounds incredible. That about does it for the episode. Now I'm hungry, even though I already ate dinner. That about does it for episode 149 of the DC Crossover. We will be back next week, of course, talking more baseball.
Hopefully, we both will be back.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm going to be alive.
You never know. You never know with this sickness this boy's got. We'll be back again. Yep, and talking Nats, and then probably some off-season stuff coming up soon as well. Besides that, follow us again on all social media at the DC Crossover Net16 and DC Crossover Podcast on TikTok and the YouTube. See you next time. This has been another episode of the DC Crossover. John Z, take us out, my friend.
Zagoo!